So I was given these KingArt watercolour brush markers for Christmas, and when I first got them I thought they were just brush pens, and so my first few pictures I used them just as brush pens, and they were fine. They gave quite a good coverage, but I did just think, well, they're just felt tip pens really, with a brush tip. But it did occur to me that they wouldn't call them watercolour pens for nothing. So I did look them up online and very quickly found a tutorial to use similar pens by Staedtler. I don't know an awful lot about KingArt. These are designed in New York and made in China. I have no idea if it's a budget art supply or if it's middle of the road. No idea of the quality, so we shall see. They have a standard brush tip. I don't know if they're any different from watercolour markers. I don't know if they're any different as I haven't tried any of the others. But if you have got any feedback to add that might help other people, do pop them in the comments below. So after watching the Staedtler tutorial, I decided to do a few experiments in my sketchbook. So this video does go into lots of ways not to use these pens. So do use the timestamps or the chapters if you wish to watch a particular part, just to help you on your creative journey. So after watching the Staedtler tutorial, there were a lot of people asking questions in the comments about these pens. Some were asking if you needed special brushes to blend with, and some people were asking, does it only work on certain papers? How do I get rid of the pen marks, etc, etc. So I'd already kind of got an idea that these pens might not be straightforward to use as watercolour pens. So in the first section I just coloured it in and then rubbed water over, and it gave a pretty wishy-washy result. In the second section I used a lot less pen just to see how far the ink or the pigment would blend out. Again, pretty poor results. The pigment or the paint wasn't really shifting much at all. So then I tried dipping the pen into water, and that didn't work at all. The water just soaked straight into the nib, and the colour did not want to flow out because the water was blocking it, and it took absolutely ages to keep mark making to bring the colour back to the pen nib. I'll show you a little bit more on that later on though. So at this point I really figured that I must be missing something, but I was still mindful that I'd just watched the tutorial of a professional using similar brush pens in exactly the same way. So I didn't know if it was the pens, the brand, or just me. So since I'd read in the comments that the paper that you're using these pens with might be the issue, I thought I'd run a few tests. The paper in my sketchbook is just cartridge paper, so I grabbed a sheet of every piece of paper that I could lay my hands on. I'd got my sketchbook cartridge paper, 2 types of watercolour paper, a mixed media pad and some card. If you've tried any other papers with these watercolour pens, do let me know in the comments below, because it might help not just me but other people that are watching this video as well. So I drew out some circles on each of my papers, and I decided to initially just block colour in the first circle. On all of the papers that I used, they applied just like felt tip pens. There was some scraggy overlap as you overlay the nib on the paper. And adding water, the colours did seem to lift a little. There was definitely some pigment being lifted off the page. So as I was trying to blend on the cartridge paper, I found I was starting to pick up paper fibres. Maybe I was pressing too hard or adding too much water. On the lighter colour, on the light blue circle, it was a lot harder to blend in the colours. So on the textured watercolour paper, the experiment went pretty much the same way as the cartridge paper. It seemed to pick up some of the pigment, or the paint, I don't really know what to call it. The colour lightened when I added the water, and it kind of blended, but it wasn't great. And I was picking up a lot of paper fibres. On the regular watercolour paper, it was a lot smoother to apply the initial pen marks. But the colour really didn't seem to pick up as well as it did on the textured paper. It was definitely picking up, but I still was left with a lot of pen marks. On the smooth card, I couldn't get anything to move around at all. It felt like the colour had really soaked into the card and it just was not going to budge. It wasn't going anywhere. But I was picking up an awful lot of paper fibres trying. With the mixed media pad, again, it felt like the colour had really absorbed into the paper. And when I added the water, again, it felt like it was just doing nothing. But there was a small amount of pigment that was being lifted, but so much less than the other papers. So in conclusion, the cartridge paper actually gave me the best result, and the mixed media pad was awful, as was the card. So I decided to abandon using the card and the mixed media paper at this point because it was quite clear that the colour just wasn't lifting from the page. So then I decided to use the watercolour brush pens on a paper palette. So I drew a small circle and coloured it in to use that as a palette to lift the colour from. So with the cartridge paper, the colour that I was lifting was very, very light and intermixed with quite a lot of paper fibres, but it did give a kind of watercolour effect. The second part of the circle I filled with water first, and then I added the paint from the paper palette just to see if it made any difference. It did feel a little bit more like I was using watercolour paint doing it this way. The watercolour paper was okay. Still a very light coverage, but fewer paper fibres were being lifted off the page. With the textured watercolour paper, I was lifting a lot more colour. It did lift a lot better off the paper, but I was still getting a few paper fibres. So in conclusion, for this method of using a paper palette, the watercolour pens seem to work best on the watercolour paper, which is probably what you'd expect really, but with all of them I was still picking up a few paper fibres. So I decided to try drawing directly onto a damp page, as you might with watercolour paint, and it gave a very fuzzy line, and as with my previous experiment, the nib was picking up the water from the page rather than laying down any colour. The water was just soaking into the nib and it was going one way and not the other. So you can just about see that the nib has lightened because of the water, and it took a long time for the water to clear and the pigment to return. And I had to make a lot of marks on the page for the water to clear and the pigment to return to the nib. So far, not good. So the Staler tutorial that I watched, the work they were producing was good, but it wasn't, top-notch quality. And I did start wondering whether or not these watercolour brush markers are just kind of like a gimmick art supply. And what I mean by that is that when something new comes on the market, everyone who's into art rushes out to buy it, don't they? And I did start to think maybe it was just a way to get extra money out of us. But I wasn't giving up. I did find an artist that did some incredible pictures using watercolour markers, not brush markers. I don't know which brand, but it did inspire me to carry on trying. So the other method that I wanted to try was using some laminate to paint or draw onto the laminate and then transfer that to the paper. I didn't have any laminate, but I did have some small cellophane bags, and I added a little bit of water by squeezing out my paintbrush, and then I tipped it over my page, and this is what happened. It was messy, but it was quite a lot of fun actually, and I decided to explore it further. Oh, this was just so much fun to do. Bit of a mess on it, I'm not sure if you can see because I made quite a mess with this earlier. I'm just got my small piece of wrap. I think any sort of plastic will work for this, and I think some of these background techniques might be fun to use. So yeah, let's just have a go, see what happens. Now, so I don't mess up the water, I've just got a dropper. Let's try without adding water, see what happens. It's a direct print, look, a direct print of what I drew. Well, that's quite fun. Have I just invented a new way to use these pens? It's like printmaking. And when the backgrounds had dried, they looked lovely. The colour was so much smoother and crisper than watercolour paint. It looked more like drawing ink than watercolour paint, but I just really thought the colours were great. So the next stage for me was to see if I could use this technique to make a proper picture. So I will put these drawings up as full process videos over the next couple of Sundays. Do look at the video description and I'll pop them in there as soon as they're live, but here are the highlights. So I'm a big fan of dragonflies, so I drew directly onto the page with the watercolour brush markers. And then I attempted to blend them. It was fine. I was never going to win any awards for this painting, but I did quite like the end result, and I didn't mind having the brush marks, the pen marks on the page. So then I decided to try a seascape. Now this did require a little bit more thought on the colours and the placement, but overall it was still quite random. And then I drew the mountains by drawing directly onto the paper with the pens. everything was going really well until, well, you know these pens that don't really blend very well? They bled right into my waterline. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. When you want these pens to blend, they're not blending. But this black ink, it wanted to blend. So I fixed it by drawing a new coastline. But then when I added the shadow for the mountains, I did still experience some bleeding. Hey ho, such is life. I still quite like this picture. I think for the amount of effort that it took to do, it's a very simple technique for getting something fun down on the page. The final test for these pens was to try using them on a plastic palette rather than a paper palette. So to scribble into the plastic and then lift the colour from the plastic. This is just a chocolate box lid, but I've heard and I've read that you could use a ceramic tile as well if you have one, or maybe even a piece of glass. The results on this picture were pretty basic, but I do expect that with some patience and some time, something better could be produced. The colours are very subtle using it this way, and I couldn't find a way to get some really vibrant darker colours on the page. So in conclusion, I have used these watercolour brush pens extensively for 3 weeks now. These pens definitely work better on watercolour paper, and they definitely work best using a plastic palette. And I truly, absolutely loved using the pens for the backgrounds. Experimenting with the colours was just so much fun. Highly recommend that. And as I said before, I do think that if you had the patience, you probably could create something quite amazing using the watercolour brush markers on with the plastic palette. But moving forward, I would absolutely use these watercolour pens for backgrounds, and I do, and I have, and I will continue to do so. As for using them in other ways, well, I'm not entirely sure that I'm ready to give up on these pens yet, but I think it's going to be one of those moments where you have that little moment of inspiration and you think, right, today's the day, but it's not something that I would want to do tomorrow. I don't know if that makes sense. You must know how it is. Some days you feel like, oh yeah, I really want to do a painting today. Or some days you're like, eh. Anyway, we shall just have to see. Thank you for watching. I hope you found some of this video useful. And if you have tried watercolour pens yourself, do let me know what your experiences are down in the comments below, because they will, like I said, they'll not only help me, but they might help other people that come and look at the video and read the comments later, because we're all finding our way on our own art journey. Anyway, yes, thank you for watching. Do give me a thumbs up if you've made it this far, and I hope to catch up with you soon.